from very, very successful people. So I'm just going to regurgitate exactly what they told me. So inshallah, you're obviously advised to do your own research as well. But today's topic is giving too much importance to emotions can be the reason you don't succeed. Subtopics, managing emotions. And then the second one, which is why are we so emotional as Muslims? I'll get onto that. Now, our whole life is setting us up to be highly reactive to external things. Music, movies, TV shows, TikTok, and IG scrolling. Let's start off with music first. Now, with music, the whole point of it is actually to get some sort of emotion out of you. If it didn't, then you wouldn't listen to it. You're meant to get some sort of dopamine through it. And if it didn't do that, you would not listen to it. So what I found myself doing was basically I needed to have some sort of music playing while I was going to the gym because I thought it would give me energy. But what I started to realize was I was so dependent upon what sort of music I was listening to that I could not get that energy by myself. And I was just so kind of dependent on external things to make me feel a certain way. Same with movies and TV shows. Shows are the worst thing possible because the whole job for a show, a TV show, or like a Netflix series is to keep you hooked by creating those feelings of suspense. God, what's going to happen next? How is it going to happen? Feeling anxiety for the characters. That's the whole point of it. So what you're then doing is you're literally just fully dependent on other things making you feel a certain way or giving you a good feeling. TikTok is probably the worst thing you can possibly do. Now, thank you for doing it so far, TikTok and IG scrolling, otherwise you wouldn't have found me, but let's stop doing it from now on. But TikTok, when it started kind of getting traction back in 2019, that's the first memory I have of it. One of my mentors said, do not download TikTok or do not ever scroll because that's the worst thing you can do to your brain because it's basically like, what do you call it? Gambling addiction. Maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Wait 2-3 seconds. Okay, nothing interests me. Keep on scrolling, keep on doing until you get that dopamine hit. So what you're literally, again, coming to the point is your whole life is tailored towards external things making you feel certain emotions. So we're very, very, very reactive. Now, coming to the point that I said earlier, why are we so emotional as Muslims? I've worked with 3 different sorts of industries. I've worked with the B2B market. I've worked with the B2C African-American market. I'm not talking about races here, just generally markets that I have kind of put together and what I've noticed about them. And I've also worked with the B2C Muslim market, and B2C being individuals. And I found that us as Muslims, we are so emotional, like with everything. And again, I'm not insulting anyone. I'm emotional as well. But what I'm trying to say is we need to learn how to manage those emotions because this can be literally the thing that can cause you to not have success. Now, when it comes to doing the hard things that actually get us results, it's like torture because it's not giving us the feeling that we desire. So that is why being very, very emotional regarding certain things happening externally, your results, etc., can be the worst thing that you can do. And one thing I've noticed about people like Abdul is, correct me if I'm wrong, Abdul, like you don't get very emotional about things. You just kind of do the work, and that's why you've been able to succeed so well. Is that correct, Abdul?
Yeah, my mindset right now is really like whatever happens, happens. At some point I'm gonna get what I want.
Exactly.
So,
Just detached from the outcome.
yeah.
But yeah, like, I'm not saying that being emotional is bad. That's why I said earlier that I'm not a therapist, neither am I a psychologist. I don't know the sciences behind this sort of stuff. So I'm just sharing what has worked for me and other successful people have told me. So non-binary thinking when it comes to emotions. So what that basically means is it's not either being emotional or not being emotional. Why not just be somewhere in the middle? What I mean by that is just be emotional while you're praying to Allah, you're asking for things, but just completely get rid of those emotions when you're working. Generally in life, being so reactive with things. Trust me, I found myself to go into this rabbit hole of whatever was happening to me. I just got really angry for some reason. Like, why is this happening? Like why can't I just go the right way, the way it's supposed to go? Like, I was very, very, very reactive, which I thought was completely taking my life to an opposite direction that I don't want it to go. The second point is non-binary thinking with effort. So before I expand more on non-binary thinking, I just want to explain what it is. Non-binary is basically, binary is either one side or the other side, yes or no, this thing or that thing. But what I'm trying to say is somewhere in the middle. So I'm not promoting just intense hard work, because that never really works. What you need to find is a balance of working hard and also relaxing, pushing and then pulling. When you push too much, as in you really working hard. I know it sounds cool. Oh, I work hard. The grind season, or whatever people like to call it, the fancy YouTube videos, but that's not reality. Like, none of the business owners that I know work hard. It's just basically knowing what the effective actions are, the needle pushing activities, keeping the 80-20 principle in mind, as in 80% of the results are caused by 20% of the actions. So you just need to know what the 20% of actions are, which I've given to you in project 1 and 2. So you just need to do those actions, push, pull. Pulling meaning just kind of manage it in a way where it's easy for you to do. I talked about this on our last presentation. If you've not watched that, please go ahead and watch that. The last point is meaning balance. Non-binary thinking is balance. If you're too much on one side, if you're too emotional, if you notice that about yourself, just focus on being unemotional. Now, one very, very interesting topic that one of my mentors taught me was the RAS in your brain. It's called the reticular activating system. Now, if you Google search it, you'll get a couple of different meanings and answers. So what it basically does, it's a filtration system. So you get thousands of thoughts, thousands of stimuli during the day. And what it's meant to do is just filter through what is important and what is not. So basically, the thousands of thoughts that you get every single day, let's say, for example, I'm good at cold calling, or I'm not good at cold calling. If you were to attach an emotion to a certain thought, what your RAS starts to do is it starts to look for evidence in your physical world for it. And once it finds enough evidences, it then actually becomes your identity. Okay, I'm not good at speaking to people. So it all started off with, oh God, I'm not good at speaking to people. I don't know how to speak to people. And then you attach an emotion to it, which is kind of shame or whatever, guilt, right? Which then makes your RAS look for proofs while you're cold calling or whatever, generally speaking to people. And then it becomes your identity, as in, for example, Abdul, I am not good at speaking to people. That's not the case, but I'm just giving an example. Now, this also works with the confirmation bias. Let's say, if you like a certain watch, a Cartier watch, or a certain car, a certain red car, you start to see that everywhere because you got that thought, oh, I like that. You attach an emotion of, pleasure, whatever it is, happiness, and then your RAS starts to look for proofs, and then it becomes, like, I like this car. This is a kind of deep topic, and again, I'm not an expert on this. This really made sense, so that's why I just wanted to share that with you. One interesting thing that I got told by one of my mentors was that this is such a powerful thing when it comes to raising children, because I'm not sure who's a parent here, but when you say to someone else that, oh, my child's, he's shy, whatever the case is, what your child then starts to do is then the emotion attaches to that thought, and then he looks to find those evidences, and then it becomes his identity that I am shy. Muhammad is shy. So never ever give labels to your children or whatever the case is, even to yourself. So this is very, very powerful stuff. Please do your research on this. Now, these are a couple of key things that you guys might be thinking, or your identity might be, I'm not good at speaking to people. I don't know how to get clients. I don't know how to cold call. I'm not a good cold caller. I don't know how to scale an agency. But you didn't know how to walk either. That doesn't mean you don't learn how to do it, right? It's just about learning, getting through the learning phase. And everything is able to be learned as long as the desire, the emotion is there. So we're using emotions in our, basically we're using that to our advantage, the emotions, because what that will do is if we were to add a positive emotion to it, as in I am a successful business owner, then you attach a positive emotion to it. You start to look for evidences. You book 1 or 2 consultations. You close 1 or 2 clients, and then it becomes your identity. I am Abdul, the successful digital marketing agency owner. So would you be able to kind of leave a 1 in the chat if you're following so far, and 2 if you're not? Perfect. Jazakallah for that, guys. Just kind of keeping track of, if everyone's with me so far. But moving on to the next presentation, which is how to change identity very quickly. But let's say, for example, your identity is that I'm not good at this, I don't know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. How to change it very quickly. Now, drastically changing your actions, as in Basically, doing is becoming, as in, if you were to do something for a very long time, it automatically becomes your identity. So very drastically changing your actions, especially ones you assign for yourself, as in, like, you like doing something a certain way. If you really want to make a change and you really want to change who you are as a person, certain characteristics, you need to drastically change either your environment, your actions, the way you say things, the way you do things, the way you operate. So basically, that's the fastest way of doing it. And then second point on how to change identity very quickly is the 3 proofs exercise, which basically means that once you have a identity, the best way, other than drastically changing actions, is writing that thing down. So, for example, on a piece of paper, saying, I am not a good people person, or whatever, I'm not a good speaker. And then the 3 proofs exercise is basically listing off 3 logical points, because us on this call, we're all from a 9 to 5. We've all got, we all had or have successful careers. We're very, analytical. We need logical proof behind everything. So 3 logical proofs with solid backing that you are not that thing that you believe. As in, if your thing is, I'm not good at speaking to people, then you'll give 3 solid proofs of when you have been very good at speaking to people, or you have been good at, sending your message across to the other person and successfully made them do what you want them to do. So that's a very, very effective exercise that you can do. Now, how to manage emotions, especially in business. So there's this guy that I used to work with. He was in the tax industry. He was making about 500K a month. And I asked him, like, how do you manage yourself, like team members, and how to manage the revenue and keep track of how much money you're keeping and all that stuff? And he said, look, bro, the only 2 things that keep me sane is journaling and breathing exercises. Journaling is not just Dear Diary stuff. It's basically writing down, like copy paste what is on your mind onto a piece of paper. So basically you can see objectively what you're thinking, and you'll see for yourself how silly some of the things that you're thinking are. So writing everything down. So fun fact, like with me recently, sometimes when I'm on calls with people, they really, really kind of trigger me. And by just saying silly things, because that's my pet peeve, when people say silly things when they know it's not the truth, and they just say it anyway, just acting like a child. So that really, really annoys me. So I just basically write that down and state that fact, and just tell myself, okay, just kill the ego here. Why do you have this ego? Just have compassion. Why are they saying this? So that has really helped me. This sort of stuff has really helped me. Or making decisions like what to do next. So you literally write that down. I'm really confused about what I should do next. This is happening. I have these options. And because you know yourself best, you're able to get yourself advice like, hey, with the context that I know about myself, this is the best option. So literally just putting out all your thoughts on a piece of paper, especially at the end of the day, or while even cold calling, because then you can see exactly how you're feeling and you know what thoughts you need to think to actually get the results. And reading exercise, I went through it last week, which is basically just focusing on one thing for about 10 minutes. Every time you're basically your attention goes to other things, you bring it back. The goal isn't to keep the attention on one place. The goal is to bring it back as many times as possible. So that's the main key thing, as in basically what that will help you to do is over time, from the practice that you do from those 10-minute breathing exercises, is that you will learn to, each time you get distracted while cold calling or doing your general work, you'll be able to bring it back onto the point of focus. I wanted to give this 5-gallon pot of soup analogy. This is just something I thought of, and hopefully I'm able to create the image that I thought of before. So basically, think of the pot with the soup as this business, this digital marketing business that we're trying to start. And it's full to the brim, as in, like, if it's tipped over to each side, it can spill over to the person that is trying to lift it. So basically, I'm holding one side and you're holding one side, and our job is to move it a couple of meters forward every single week. Now, I'm giving you, as in me holding my side, is giving you the clear action steps, the 80-20 principle, the 20% that actually make the biggest difference. I'm giving you those actions. Now, I need you to hold the handle as well. But every time you don't hold the handle properly, the soup will spill on you, you'll get burnt, and then you'll blame me. But I'm going to say, hey, I gave you everything. It's your job to actually hold your side of the pot of soup as well. So what is you holding your side of the pot of soup? soup plan is 200 outbounds weekly, 100 from calling, spoken, and 100 from secondary system, and follow the structure given for 15-minute demo calls. Now, please follow this checklist if you want to guarantee failure, which is number one, doing 40 to 90 spoken to a week and thinking that is enough to actually get the results. When I've said about 1,000,000 times that 100 spoken to equals 2 to 4 book calls, which those 2 to 4 book calls could come at the 95th spoken to or the 98th spoken to. So you can only judge whether it's working or not. A good enough data set is 100 spoken to. You cannot judge a data set if it's below 100 spoken to. Second is thinking, let's see if this works. Who the hell has ever been successful at anything thinking, let's see if this works? So you need to really fully change the way you think. Like that sort of thinking will not get you to where you want to be. And then lastly is not tracking, recording, keeping systems. Keeping systems thinking in mind, which is systems thinking is zoomed out view of everything and seeing objectively what has been done, because at the moment you are the owner of the business and you are also the employee of the business. So you'll have to see what is being done. When you're inside the business, it feels like so much is happening. When you zoom out, you feel like, okay, oh God, like nothing's happened yet. So zoomed out view, keeping systems thinking in mind. Can you please drop a 1 in the chat? If you're still following anything confusing you, please drop a 2. Perfect. Exactly, guys. Right. But now you might be thinking, but Azam, it's difficult. Like the cold calling and all that stuff is very, very difficult. And I don't know whether this will work for me. No, wallahi, guys, like, this happened back in 2012 with, what do you call it? Crypto, Bitcoin, right? If you would have just put a grand, 2 grand on crypto, the thing that was popping off, you would be, in a very, very different place. But you didn't, because you let your emotions. I mean, look, if you didn't know about crypto back then, fair enough. I'm talking to the people who had heard of crypto back in 2012, 2013, etc., and didn't do anything with it. This is basically the second wave of something that is about to pop off or is currently popping off. As in, Allah has literally given you something right in front of you, in your hands. It's just you to kind of take use of it. So logical. Every business needs to grow. How does a business grow? When people know about it. How do people know about it? It was back then in newspapers, billboards, flyers, etc. But where's people's attention now? On their phones. So why is this industry growing? Because everyone's attention is on their phones. So this is legit proof from Google. You can search it up. How is the digital marketing industry growing in the next 10 years? Just type it in Google, and I've taken a screenshot. The global digital marketing market size reached 366 billion in 2023. So it's basically growing by 11.8% every single year. So it will be just over 1 billion by 2023, which basically means that every single year, new people are starting their own digital marketing agencies, and collectively they're growing or adding a couple of 100 million to this market size, market cap. And all you need to do is just by 2032 is just take a couple of 100 grand out of this huge market cap that is right in front of you. It's just on you to actually take use of that. Have a bit of awareness of what you have in your hands. It's just this thing with humans when they see this new opportunity, hey, this is great. And then when they get into that and they're like, oh God, okay, cool. If it's legit, you'll start to realize it wasn't as easy as you expected. And then you're like, oh God, okay, maybe I can do something else. Maybe there's an easier option. There isn't. If something's legit, obviously you have to put work towards it. It's going to be very, very difficult. I'm giving you 4 years worth of experience, knowledge, systems combined in this program. So obviously it will be overwhelming and difficult, but it's on you to hold your end of the pot of soup. Now, here's the advice that my mentors gave to me when I first started. And my first mentor, when I got fired from my job, I was doing delivery driving. I saved up a bit of cash, which was 6K USD I put into this program where I was promised video course plus one-on-ones, unlimited one-on-ones. Thirdly was group calls every single day. So what happened once I paid and I joined the program, his team members just quit, literally. So no more one-on-ones, no more daily group calls. So I was literally just left with a video course. And when I texted the guy, he didn't even respond to me. So I was just stuck there with this money being invested into this. But I did not complain, neither did I ask for refunds. I literally just went ahead and did the action steps, figured it out, and that was the one step forward to where I was, not knowing anything. And then alhamdulillah, I was stupid enough to keep going. And alhamdulillah, life has drastically changed. Also, another thing, I don't know why I'm sharing this, but I thought maybe someone can connect with this. But because I was living with my family, no one really respected, hey, what is this business that you're doing? They didn't respect me jumping on these sales calls or 15-minute consultations. So I had to lock myself in a garage, which was basically outside the house, take 2 heaters with me, like, portable heaters, because I live in the UK and it gets very cold sometimes. So, and there were, very friendly rats in the garage with me as well. So I had to just make do with it and get to a point where I did those consultations, got enough momentum. And at this point, we have now turned that exact garage into a room for our house, plus a massive extension, which cost 200 grand, which we paid off in cash. So look how life changes for the people that are stupid enough to keep going. But anyway, here are a couple of key things that my mentor said to me when I said things like, I'm nervous or I don't know what to do or blah, blah, blah. One of them, I was kind of close with him, so he said this to me because I'm pretty direct. He said, stop being a B word. And I really took that in. I was like, okay, cool. Like, okay, fair enough. I am kind of being a B word. And then second was, I said, I'm nervous. I've never done these calls before. And I was going on to closing, 15K deals for a guy that I was working with. And he just said, just don't be nervous. You do know your mind is in your control. And those are the simple key advices that really click with you. And then third one was when I said, hey, this is very difficult. And he was like, what else did you expect? These are very, very direct, but it really changed my life. Like these sort of simple, direct responses for my questions. And I lastly asked him once on a group call, like another program, was how does this law of averages thing work? Like, how do you know that after 30 book consultations, that I'll close a certain amount of deals? Like, it just really didn't make sense. Like, coming from like a 9-to-5 world where everything's so simple, you do this and you get this paycheck at the end. Like, what the hell is this law of averages and like following numbers? Like, it doesn't make any logical sense being an analytical person. And he just said, look, bro, it works. We will both ask our creators when we die, but for now, just do it and you'll get the results. So again, very direct, very straight to the point. But yeah, guys, like change is what we need if we want to get the results. Lastly, how do I manage tough seasons at the moment? So basically, good seasons or bad, I always have a positive expectation regarding what is about to happen, plus doing the effective actions and detachment from the outcome. And I've seen this kind of formula being applied, not even knowing, like Abdu probably does that. Abdu, like you feel like you do that, like you always have positive expectations, like something good is going to happen, and then you just keep doing the actions, and you're also detached from the outcome. Do you feel like that's kind of the formula that you use?
Yeah, exactly. You exactly right.
Amazing. And the reason I'm saying this is because if Abdu's been able to be successful, all you have to do is just basically copy paste what he's doing, the way he's thinking, acting, and just do it in your situation. Now, the question this week, guys, is will you hold your side of the 5-gallon pot this week? And maybe I should put the Friday check-in as, did you hold your side of the 5-gallon pot? But that'll just confuse people. But anyway, please, guys, just do the action steps. I'm here for you. I really need you to kind of, take use of the knowledge that I do have. Yeah, Osama has a question.
Assalamu alaikum. No question. Thank you for that. And actually, for the past 3 days, I've been building on something which complements what you just spoke about. Thank you for all of this. But is it okay if I share something with everybody as well?
100%. Do you want to share the screen or just?
No, I can just talk. That's okay.
Okay, good.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. For what Arsam has been saying, it really resonated with me because it's something that I've been diving into for the past week, 2 weeks actually, and it is showing me great results. There is a skill that every single person over here can achieve, can learn, and must achieve and must learn. It's a skill that you can all learn, right? This skill, MIT study says, or determines which students will graduate with higher grades. This skill will determine if you'll be successful in life, in career, and in business. This skill will give you better health, according to Harvard. This skill will make you more attractive to people. It is the foundation of the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's the foundation of the book, How to Make Friends and Influence People. I've read those books. This skill kills depression and anxiety. It builds confidence, creates self-compassion, and makes you resilient. All the traits that you need right now to succeed. So what is it? Optimism. Be optimistic. It will change your life. It will change the people around you. It will change you. You need this. And Allah says in the Quran, slacken not, nor grieve, and you shall certainly have the upper hand if you are believers. So optimism is key to success. And there are thousands of quotes you can find online. Just find optimism and success quotes, read through them. Whatever Arzam is saying, it resonated with me. I jive with it, and I truly believe in it. But please be optimistic. Exactly what Arzam has been saying. Thank you for this time.
No, Osama, that was so good, bro. Like the foundation of the key books, like, you know, the classic books for self-help is just optimistic, having self-awareness, and you know, just hoping for the best. It's so interesting. Here's something my mentor says. His name is Myron Goldens. Maybe I'll just drop a video of his. But basically, he says every principle is a microcosm of each other. So basically, that means if something works with one principle or one key area of life, it should always work with another as well. So what he basically means with that is, if you apply physics is a law, basically laws of life, how life operates. You can never defy physics. She says energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form. So it's transferred. And he says, and it kind of seems wishy-washy, but it makes a lot of sense. He says that success is a high energy result. So it can only come from a high energy person. And energy just basically means positivity and expectations. So if you can be a high energy person, then you can translate that energy into success. Who have you seen is very, very unhappy, miserable, depressed, turn their life into success? No one. And it's very, very difficult, guys. Like, I deal with this on a daily basis, but it's just about practice. And it is very, very normal to kind of have that mental fatigue. God, everything is wrong right now. How do I keep positive expectations? It's just, you know, managing a way for you to be able to do that. It's definitely possible. But yeah, guys, like, you know, this topic is very close to my heart. Like, it's life-changing if you really understand this. And I'll send you guys the recording for this presentation so you can go through it a couple of times. And if you want, I could send you a couple more key resources that really help change my life. And Samira, I think she wants to say something.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to quickly mention something since you're on this topic, and it's really ironic because I was watching a mindset video today, and when you were going through the journaling part, it reminded me of what I watched earlier, which was really powerful as well. So when you're journaling your emotions and how you felt at that time, one key thing that I really recommend to everybody is journaling where you want to be and where you can see yourself in 1 year's time. And the key to journaling is act as if you're in the present tense. So for example, in 1 year's time, I am making 10K per month right now. In 1 year's time, 1 year from now, I am, going gym 3 times a week and having a 30-minute walk every single day. And I promise you, if you list out 5 to 10 things that you want to achieve in 1 year's time, but speaking as if you achieved it in present tense, it will just be so amazing, like where you'll actually be in 1 year's time when you've journaled it down and how much can change for you. So I hope that, everybody can take this advice and inshallah start journaling for themselves.
Absolutely. Journaling is very, very powerful. At the end of each day, I write down all my thoughts and I don't judge it. I just literally say whatever's on my mind. If you're the type of person that likes to swear a lot, I don't condone that, but go ahead and do that. If it's on your mind, Like literally whatever's on your mind, copy paste that onto the sheet. And it's so satisfying that you crunch up the paper and throw it in the bin. It's like, okay, that's over. And then you move on to actually what is important in your life. But anyway, guys, we won't drag this call on for too much longer. Any questions, anything that you guys want to ask? If not, we can just end the call. And of course, you can always ask me any questions on WhatsApp. I'm always here. Yeah, guys, inshallah, I'll speak to you soon, okay? Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.